Welcome back. Let's get into it, shall we? There's a movie that I saw. Okay. So, I just got back from watching Evil Dead Burn. And for those of you who don't know, this is a film in the franchise of Evil Dead. And I gotta tell you, there's few franchises I would say I'm an expert in. In fact, I'm not even gonna say I'm an Evil Dead expert. I am an expert in the film Evil Dead 2. And this movie is the 6th movie in the franchise after a TV show. And after the TV show, we got 3 more movies. A reboot that kind of connected to the original series. And then another semi reboot that was totally disconnected. And then we got this other movie that maybe is connected to the previous Evil Dead movie, which, for the record, Evil Dead Rise, although I liked it, I did not particularly care for it. I watched it 2 or 3 times. I thought there were some cool things about it. Overall, I was kind of let down. I really didn't like the ending of the last Evil Dead movie. I thought it was uncreative. But the thing that they did that I liked about that movie was they followed the lore and not so much lore, but the rules that Evil Dead has established. Because any good movie does this thing where it will set up rules and it will establish this world through these rules. And Evil Dead 2 set up some really fun rules that the franchise, for the most part, has run with. And this latest entry is trying to connect to the original in a way that I kind of like. The protagonist, long story short, the grandson of the of the guy who read the book in the second movie on the tape recorder, his grandson is like dealing with the fallout of it or something. The plot is a little bit wonky in this, but it's basically that. Look, the rules of Evil Dead have completely changed at this point. As far as I knew it, when the evil is haunting you, you are basically confined to the space. Like once the incantation is read, that person is then stalked in the space that they are in. So like in Evil Dead Rise, they kind of fuck around with that. Like she's in the elevator. So like she's confined there, but she gets out, and then she goes into another space. But the whole time, they're confined within that space. That's like a rule that was basically established in Evil Dead 2 and even the original. But that's how I read the film. Okay, guys, don't come at me. There's no right way to enjoy art, all right? If you think this is bullshit, turn it off. I don't care. But the way that I like the franchise is they've set up these rules where Evil Dead 2, it is about nature taking back over. It is about the fetishization of severing limbs while using power tools. And those are kind of there, but this movie at the end of the day feels like the studio going, so we own Evil Dead, huh? Can we make a Conjuring or an Insidious? And the thing that's really funny about that is the new Insidious movie is going to be a Backrooms knockoff. So even Insidious is like, hey man, we're kind of played out. Because this haunted house shit it's cool, but I didn't like the characters. I thought that the premise was good, but the story was not. And the tone was not realized. Like, the parts that were supposed to be funny were lame. And when it was trying to be, you know, horror comedy, it was just horror. And they do stuff, they involve stuff in the franchise that, I don't know, it kind of goes against, like, what I think of these characters and how, like, I'm talking about, like, Ash and stuff like that, like, how these characters reacted to the world. I was just not, I wasn't very happy with how this played out. It didn't feel true to Evil Dead. Through and through, guys, this feels like Zack Snyder presents Evil Dead. I think that this has the idea of going too far that would make Uwe Boll go, yeah, man, fuck you, intense. And it's like, no, man, like, that is desperate. You know, it's like, where did that come from? And I'll get into the spoilers of it, because I'll be honest, like, the movie it's like a rental, you know, like, it's like a 5 out of 10 maybe. Like, it's on the border of being some bullshit. But I think that there is some good camera technique. I think that there's some fun stuff that happens in it. But this proves that you give too much money to one of these franchises and it doesn't balance. It takes away that forced element of creativity. And to start getting into the spoilers, they set up that there's an interesting deadite in this. And for the most part, like, that's accurate to the series. I'm okay with that. But then when it came down to it, it was a horror movie ending with a big special effect. And it was really lame. The same thing that the last movie did, and I did not like it there. Because they made it seem like the Evil Dead was going to take a body and, like, all these bodies and make a monster out of it. And it literally made a blob with 3 heads in the last movie. I hated that. I genuinely thought that was the lamest thing they could have done. And in this movie, it's called Evil Dead Burn. What kind of exorcist zombie do you think they're going to, for the big buildup of Evil Dead Burn, what do you think we're going to get? Obviously, a fucking burn victim, dude. And when they show him, when they show some of these burns, there's a really cool effect. It's graphic as hell, and it is effective. And I really dug it. I dug it. There is some cool stuff that they do to hands in this. I will say that is the biggest thing that I respect about this. But, man, building this up to having a CGI guy who is a character that we barely get to know, and the editing is just, like, really bad. I can't stress it enough. Like, this feels like 6 different people edited it, and it feels like 3 different people directed it. Because it doesn't know if it wants to be Psycho, Evil Dead, or what was the other one? Or Requiem for a Dream. It was so all over the place. I was really let down by this. But on top of all that, to end with, like, a big CGI effect, which leads to a lame scene of them doing a poorly edited bait and switch with a chainsaw, which already, like, we get it, power tools. You know, chainsaws are a big part of the franchise because it doesn't need to be like that. And I don't think we need another chainsaw in another Evil Dead movie ever again. And maybe that's a hot take. I don't care. But for an Evil Dead movie to just be like, ta-da, and it's the final girl defeating a burn victim zombie. the only reason Sam Raimi would ever okay something like that is because the kid in him that was broke is like, fuck yeah, spend it. I'm not making this motion picture. I don't give a shit. Him and Bruce Campbell. But the thing that really knocks the movie down to the lowest possible peg of a rental is there's things they do in this. I don't think Sam Raimi would ever do that. And these are spoilers. But number one, dude, they brutally murder a dog so they can, as lame as possible, make the dog into a deadite. 2 shots of it drooling with glowy eyes. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? And what was the other thing? At this is the first time, dude, I've ever seen a stinger, dude. And leave it to Zack Snyder Presents Evil Dead, dude. The stinger, the mom from the last movie, dude, she reappears somewhere like a fucking ghost and murders a child. And it ends. Genuinely walked out of the theater like kind of pissed. Like, I'm not offended. I'm just like, seriously? That's like millions of dollars, talented actress, and you get her to come back and break the neck of a child? At best, am I supposed to laugh at that? That's fucked. That's lame. I hate that. This movie left me feeling sour, dude. This is another movie where, like, I want to love it, but it's giving me nothing to love. The little bits of special effects stuff, that only goes so far, man. I think they're trying to appeal to the wrong demographic with this. And it's leading to a muddy film that, unfortunately, I feel very pretentious saying this, but I genuinely believe this. It feels like a shallow display of this franchise, dude. Evil Dead to me is the most incredible thing, dude. Evil Dead somehow has the silliest possible thing next to the scariest possible thing. And that's an incredible achievement. And I think that this film, there are points it may attempt to honor that, but this was rushed. This was a badly written script. There are some decent lines, but these characters are just like, what the fuck? And like the comedy is just like really like lame. And I don't know, man. I was very disappointed by this. This left me wanting way more, dude. If they're gonna make another Evil Dead movie, which I think they're doing, right? They're making another Evil Dead movie, aren't they? What's it called? Is it called Evil Dead Ash? That would be kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie. If they make another one, they call it Evil Dead Ash, and it's about Ash ending the franchise. I don't know. There's stuff that they did with the lore in this that I thought was horrible. Another spoiler, they like try to say that the guy who read the book way back in the day is a part of this cult, and the Evil Dead want to take out. Oh my god! Like, I gotta stop talking about this. I'm gonna say fuck this movie in a second. Oh my god, dude! Big letdown. I'm gonna probably forget about this one. Big L. Big L. I know that the films are not connected to the original trilogy, so there's obviously not going to be the same style. But I'm really bummed the recent Evil Dead movies being straight up horror movies and not comedies or a little comedic. In my opinion, Evil Dead are top tier horror comedies. Yeah. And the recent adaptations, straightforward horrors comment. I would say that the first Evil Dead reboot kind of had it figured out. I thought that movie did something interesting. I think if you watch that first Evil Dead remake as this film that is made for fans of Evil Dead, like as a love letter to them, I think that it's kind of it's a fun watch like that, because it's like, oh, who's the Ash character, you know? And I think that they do something neat with that. And I really liked the character of Mia. I thought that she was super cool, and I liked the metaphor of addiction and how they used that. I thought it was effective, you know? But I really thought that the last movie was the beginning of them starting to lose the plot. But this one is like, all right, you're using this franchise incorrectly as far as I see it. Like, in my opinion, you're starting to do it wrong, and that sucks to see. That really sucks to see. Yeah. That's it. That's the end of the review.
If love depends on billing cycles,
what happens after decline? Subscription active, but I don't feel alive.